amount of a vector is very easy. Now listen carefully. You take the squared components of the vector, you add them up, and then you take the square root again of the sum. Again, so you take the square, you square the single components of the vector, you add them up, and then you take the square root. And this is called the amount of a vector, right? So I'm going to show you in the following how it works, but basically it's just how I said. Thanks. How to calculate the amount of a vector? Actually very easy. The principle is, so listen carefully, the principle is take the square root of the addition of the squared elements of the vector. Okay, this sounds maybe a little bit complicated, but it is not complicated. We just have a vector v1, v2, v3 with 3 elements or 3 components. And the way to calculate the amount of the vector, now as I said, it is the square root of the addition of the squared single elements. This is how it works. This is the formula. So you take the elements, you square the elements, you add them up, then square root, then you have the amount. So it's very, very easy, I would say. You just have to memorize the definition, then the formula with the definition, and then you can calculate it. So let's just have a look at an example. So vector v is, in this case, also the numbers don't always have to look very nice, since the principle doesn't really the principle doesn't take care of the, I mean, it doesn't matter if you have nice numbers or not, you just put in the numbers in the formula. You don't really have to think, just put in the numbers in the formula, and then you receive the amount of the vector. So, as we just said, we take the single components, 29 to the power of 2 plus 35 to the power of 2. In this case I write plus, since minus 44 to the power of 2 is positive. So in any case the minus doesn't matter. Then this is the formula just applied, and then it gets a little bit complicated. So we use a calculator and we receive square root of 4002. So in case the square root or the result of the square root would look nice, I would, if this would be like 5 or like 10, I would write 5 or 10. But in this case, if we take the square root, it looks quite ugly, so we better we say square root looks better, so we keep the square root like this. And this is the amount of the vector, so it's not too difficult. So I would just suggest you to learn this formula by heart, and then practice it a little bit. And then actually I don't think there are a lot of problems with the amount of the vector. There are a lot of complicated things with mathematics, but this shouldn't be a big problem. Just memorize the formula, just apply it. You don't really have to think about it much. And then just put in the numbers, calculate it, and there you are. Thanks for watching. Practice makes perfect. Further exercises with solutions you can find on my website, which is www.worksheets.com.